I mean, if you think about it, just take the First Amendment free speech clause. If you are a person who expresses a view that the majority likes, then by definition, you're not going to be a person who's targeted for censorship efforts because you're expressing views that the majority finds palatable. It's only those people who express opinions that are odious to the majority, that are offensive and repugnant, who are going to be targeted with censorship efforts. The same is true for imprisonment without due process. You can go throughout history and find in every case where civil liberties have been transgressed that the targets are always people who are disliked by the majority. Almost every free speech case where the government attempts to censor always entails people who are expressing opinions that are repugnant. There was just a recent Supreme Court case where the government, the federal government, attempted to enact legislation barring protests outside of funerals. Now, they knew when they did that that was a violation of free speech because they're preventing speech. It's a form of speech to protest the person who just died and to express the view that they were destructive and are going to burn in hell forever. As repugnant as that is, it's clearly speech. It's clearly an opinion. But what the government did is what they always do, which is they picked a person who they thought was so reprehensible that everybody would agree with the particularized application of this unconstitutional power, Fred Phelps. Who doesn't hate Fred Phelps? You can't find a single person who likes him. And so they purposely pick somebody like that because that's always the best way to institutionalize unconstitutional powers, is by selecting people about whom the majority doesn't care. And that's the whole purpose of the Constitution, is to protect the Fred Phelpses of the world, or neo-Nazis to march through Skokie even though there's large numbers of Holocaust survivors there, or communists in the 1950s who were depicted as the prime menace and yet, and therefore were constantly targeted for all sorts of suppression efforts. You go through history and you find in every case that what all kinds of unconstitutional acts always entail is the majority trying to target the minority in ways that the Constitution doesn't allow. And that's why the Constitution is anti-democratic, because the founders feared what they called the tyranny of the majority.